Hello everyone and welcome back to Thermal Formula 1. We are here with the penultimate round, round 10 in Italy for what looks like a wet qualifying. Don't know anything else other than that, but we have 20 drivers in today, so we should be in for a good race. Or a broken lobby again, just like last week, that could also happen. We're getting that work done. Pitched in some. Okay, here we go. Right, it's working now. That took a nice long year and a half. Oh, so we did have 20 drivers and now it's down to... Okay. Currently, Lando on pole. How long that will last, I don't know. Thanks to him at all. We have a new driver here today, the new driver of Jake Boy in Chwosi, and FZR Igor in the Campos. Both new to the league, so we'll see what they can pull out. Oh, I told you Lando wouldn't be there for long. Who's there at the moment? I need to pull everything else up, don't I? I've got brains, guys. So here we have AMS Lion in pole position, or provisional pole at the moment, going through Sector 3 into Ascari. Both new drivers currently in last place in the last two positions. And Storm's now in last. Still Lion on pole. Charlie here could win the championship today, I believe, if YRD has a bad race. But at the moment it looks like Charlie will be starting further down the field than he wanted. Yep, so sadly Charlie will be starting down in P16, which is not good for him, but we've seen him be able to pull it out the bag, and it's a long run into turn 1, so he might just make it work. So, our top three separated by 6 tenths, which is a lot-ish, but it's a big gap in the rain, but we don't have a forecast for the race, so this could be a very interesting go. So I'll just talk you through the top 5 in the only 3 contenders for the championship as of the moment, which again could end today if Charlie has a good race. So in P1 in the standings at the moment, Charlie and the Dams 166 points. We have CRY already on 140 points. And Lion on 129, but I don't think Lion can win, or come close to winning. I think he can take third if Y already has a bad weekend this weekend. But first, like I said, can be won today. So here we are for the formation lap for the feature race at Monza. Monza, as of the moment, is the fastest track on the circuit, in where in Formula 1 they can reach an excess of 350 kilometers an hour on the straight. And they're full power over 70, I might have my fact wrong here, it was 75% of the lap. And it's where the Toro Rosso have taken their only 2 wins. Sorry, AlphaTauri / Toro Rosso. As one from Pierre Gasly in 2020 and one from Sebastian Vettel in 2008, which I believe was a wet race as well. But this isn't wet. It was going to be wet, but it isn't now. We go into Lesmo 1 on the formation lap. There's also this track where sadly, I think it's correct, Ascari died here obviously, which is why the Ascari chicane is named the Ascari chicane. And I think this happened 2 days after he had a horrific crash in Monaco. I'm just rambling on now, I don't really have correct facts. Just somewhat to pass the time over the formation lap. Just fully passing the time as they go down the back straight now towards the Parabolica, where the cars, I believe AI has taken control of the cars. As we have all the cars now lining up on the grid into their set slots, all inside of each other, as classic F1 2020 game fashion. Let me get the detail stuff up for you because I have forgotten about that. Right, that's the 5 red lights, but not the actual 5 red lights. As here we are now, the car is readying up. 5 red lights and away we go here at Monza. With Lion getting a good start. YRD not catching up to him. One of the Carlins off the track there, but he saved it back on. YRD and Lion very close down into turn 1 now. Will YRD make a move into turn 1? Yes or no? As we have one of the race laps of Jackson Dog and Toby round, I think. We now go further down the grid. The grid looks roughly the same as the start, I think. Didn't pay much. No, Lando jumping all the way up and Charlie jumping all the way up in their respective positions, and Louis going into P3. Wyardy leads now into the second chicane. That's bad luck for Toby off of the start, thankfully sustaining no wing damage, but there is a strategy here. They can pit, and if they pit after the first 3 laps onto the mediums, they will go to the end, but I don't think they'll be very lifeful at the end, as that's Joshua KJ off into the gravel from the second Lesmo. Let's find him. As Lion leads from Wyardy and leads from Louis here still. As Charlie up into P8 now, he's probably happy with his positioning. It's into P7, and that's Lion round. Which puts CER Wyardy up into first place, but that causes a virtual safety car there. And that's a race lap out of the session. So Charlie making up 10 positions on the opening lap into P6 at the moment. So it's very closely chasing down the championship. It's only championship contender now, as Lion will be fully out of the running after this race. As we have the back of the grid very bunched up at the moment under the VSC, which could end up prompting a move into turn 1 if it goes to green flag running, which it doesn't look like it will. Oh, which it has, green flag running now. The 2 ARTs up in the lead, with Rev 6/10 back, not looking to be able to do anything, but Flaming Fire here on his, I believe he hasn't raced for a while, potentially making a move out of the Curva Grande, but he doesn't go for it, he thinks better of it. Storm going up into P8 now, off of the VSC restart, which is he'd be very happy with that. Provisional pole for the next race. We see now the championship leader coming around in P6, and another one off, so he's now into P5. Charlie gaining up 11 positions on the opening 1.5 laps. Another yellow flag at the back as Jake Boy was round, I believe. FZR Igor, who his manager thought very highly of this weekend, as in P17 at the moment. We have now Charlie gaining on the back of Daniel, but Stevie Cat's retired, and that's brought out the safety car. Full depth words. So hopefully the drivers are smart enough to not pit on this lap, because if they pit this lap, they won't be able to... whoever just pit is going to have to make another stop in this race. Yep, that's Rev. He will have to make another stop, and he has been followed in by Louis, who's been followed in by Foivu, who's been followed in by Josh is slow. They are very not smart here. Pitting is not what you wanted to do this lap. They would ideally want to wait another lap, purely down to the, in F2 there's, I think most tracks, including Monza, there's the rule of if you pit before the end of the first 3 laps, you have to pit again. So they will probably have to pit again. But this safety car is doing wonders for Charlie right now, as he has had a stunning first 3 laps and gone into P4. And his championship rival now only 5/10 out the road, and will, on the safety car restart, be hopefully a lot closer. As the Orlando has left, so we will have to get him an invite back in. He has received an invite back to the game now. He doesn't rejoin. That is Zoger sitting all the way back at the back of the pack now, but Toby going to be very happy with going into P8 now after everything happened. For some reason the Carlin doesn't have much of a rear wing. But that's, for some reason, Flaming was very close to the back of Wyardy there throughout the final turn. For some reason in my eyes it looked like we already had wing damage then, but I don't think that is... No, it's not. It's not the case. As I believe the 3 drivers will probably be kicking themselves after what they did. So if Igor can catch up, safety car will be in this lap. Why aren't he being smart here? Starting on the medium tires, he will be faster at the end of the race, but the mediums, after a successive couple of laps of practice I did with the race lab and MP boys the other day, we figured the medium tires are much nicer around this track. Safety car is not going to be in this lap, or it will be a very late restart. Yep, the late Parabolica restart, wow. Of course. You never escape a collision on a safety car restart. As Wyardi has gone, and Rev has dove into the pits. No, he hasn't, I lied. As Wyardi has now gone, he has no challenge into turn 1, but Charlie here looking around the outside of Flaming Fire. Is he going to make the move? No, but he has made contact with the driver, which has very, very badly affected his race. I know someone went off. Zoger, Igor, spun. It's a shame. Storm up into podium places again, though. I'm not going to say anything because I know I'll curse it. He did say, though, at the start of this season that once the calendar was confirmed, Italy would be the place he's likely to get a podium. But he is now gaining on the back of his old teammate Daniel in the Charouse. No, he's in the Trident. I didn't know he made a team swap. We go down the grid just to see who's where. Wyardi still comfortably leads by a second now. As Charlie is... Jesus Christ! That looked big. That looked really big as we see Foivu there, just stranded on the side of the track. We go on board with Igor, we will see him, and that's the safety car deployed again. This is working wonders for Wyardi. That was a very big crash from Foivu. So Foivu's crash there now has brought out the second safety car of the race. Um, as we have Wyardi now going through the famous Parabolica with C. Orlando in P2 now after very interesting last couple of laps. He is in the car I used to drive, in which I did had a very good start to the season, winning at Baku, and that was in Primo. I had a few podiums in this car. As we now have to sit through another couple of minutes of safety car. Yes, Foivu's crash there, as I've mentioned multiple times now, it was very, big. And, I know, Foivu, you're in the, you're watching the stream, so if you have any, comments on it, please pop them in, and I will address you. As Foivu has just said that will be the crash, that should be the crash, a highlight crash of the week, which I would fully agree with. If I had control over that, I would 100% make that a highlight. As sadly I don't have access to be able to do things like that, but... So this moment we have Wyardi on 7 lap old medium compound tyres, Lando on 7 lap old, Rev on 4, Louis on 4, Josh on 4, Zoger on 4, Daniel on 1, Charlie on 1, Jake on 2 lap old softs, which could be an interesting strategy. Could work out for him. Not if that keeps happening. As we continue now down to Ascari down the straight I do not know the name of. Safety car is in this lap with all the cars bunched up much longer before the initial point last time. As Wyardi continues to follow the safety car quite closely, but now he's decided to back off. As here we go for Wyardi. He has gone. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. Lando was going to be alongside him, but he's not going to be now, as Josh is slow. Is really proving he is not slow here. He has made it from P4 into P2 in the... Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, that surprised me how close everyone was then. As Charlie makes it up into P6, going around the outside of Zoger here. Bit of contact made. Josh is slow going back into P4 now, but Rev up into P3. Lando keeping P2, but is he going to make a dive on Wyardi out of the Curva Grande into the second chicane? Yes, he is, but it's not going to stick. And he has lost the rear end nearly, and he has made contact with Rev. Rev, I would believe, would at fault for that, but Josh back up into P2 now. Daniel in P3. The action in the last couple corners, but Charlie all over the back of Lando now. Will he make any moves here down towards Ascari? I don't think so, but Rev up into P3, Daniel back to P4. Charlie is gaining on Lando, Lando is gaining on Daniel. Lando is going to make a dive down the inside into the Ascari chicane. Will he make it? No, he's forced Daniel off the track there. But that has given Charlie a good run now to pass the both of them into the Parabolica. But that has also given Zoger a nice run to come into the fray here. As Charlie goes around the outside, possibly for the switchback now, around the curve. The Parabolica, not the Curva Grande, I lied. As one of the races laps went quite wide then, but now Charlie's getting the slipstream off of Lando and he is passing Daniel. As it's 3 wide down to turn 1. 4 wide, Jesus Christ. Very good racing by these 4. No, as I say that, they're banging wheels. And Daniel was forced off the track there by Lando, and he clipped the back off Storm, and he is round. Charlie making it up to P4 now. Wyardi with a penalty though, see what penalty it is. Go on board with Josh. Wyardi on a 5-second time penalty, this could be huge. As there is a crash at the back. No idea who, sadly it was Toby. Jake picking up a 5-second time penalty for cutting the corner. Not very good for him. But Charlie, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm focusing on Charlie too much. As I should look at the back of the field a bit more, as Zoger and Storm, the teammates, have switched positions. Zoger slightly cutting a bit of the entry to the Ascari chicane there. Storm is gaining on Lando, but Zoger gaining on Storm. Will Zoger make a move into the Parabolica? No, he won't. He thinks better of it. But he might get one down into turn. Wyardi has pit. This is crucial now. He has to serve a 5-second time penalty, which means Charlie will beat him in this race. So Charlie now just needs to catch up to Josh, and then needs to catch up to Rev to win this race. As DRS has now been enabled on this lap. But there's Zoger making a move past Storm. I knew I shouldn't have gone off with them. Storm chasing Zoger around the Curva Grande now. Will he catch up by the chicane? No, he will not. That is Igor getting into P8 provisional pole for the next race, which means he might run away with it. But Mab is very slow here on the exit of the second chicane as they go into Lesmo 1 and into Lesmo 2. Igor keeps behind, but will have DRS for the next straight. And he opened and closed it. Unsure to why he did that, but he is all over the back of Mab now. Will he make a move into the inside, into the Ascari chicane? No, he won't. He thinks better of it. But that's Charlie gaining up now. A lot of time on P2. Maybe Josh really is slow, we don't know. That's why I already fell all the way back to P14, getting 0, will get 0 points from this race unless an instant happens. Which, I mean, judging by that there, just that bit of clip there, it's all possible at this point. Storm now is nearly falling a second back from Zoger. Josh is also gaining on Rev by quite a significant margin, with Charlie losing time to the pair. But if Rev and Josh start fighting, then Charlie will be able to catch. I'm sorry, I'm focusing on Charlie too much again. As Toby goes up the inside of Igor through the Curva Grande, but Igor is going to have the inside line through the second chicane. Igor no, he does not make a dive, he thinks better of it, and Toby keeps P8 in this race. as he leads into Lesmo 1. But Josh is now all over the back. No, he's not. He's 6/10ths back, but he's close to the back of Rev down the something straight into Ascari. It does not get close enough to make a move in Ascari, but he is very close to the back of Rev now. And that is a crash at the back for Louis, who had a very, very flying start to this race. And that's Zoga retired from the session. On the exit of Ascari, we've seen plenty of crashes here today. Let's see what it is. Oh, he's backwards in the wall. Okay. As we have Toby now catching up to the rear of Flaming Fire. And Toby will have the inside line into turn 1, but Mab covers it off, so Toby won't be able to outbrake himself. Yes, he will. But Toby has lost the rear end, and Toby will have to cut turn 1. Sorry, turn 2. But he won't pick up a penalty for it, as he lets Flaming back through. Josh now 5/10ths off of Rev. He doesn't seem to be gaining any more than this. They're on 9-lap-old medium compound tyres. Charlie is just keeping back now on his podium positioning. Oh, he all of a sudden gained 3/10ths through there. As Toby again into Lesmo 2 looked for the inside line, couldn't find it, but down to us on the run to Ascari. He missed a gear slightly. So he will not be close enough. He will not be close enough for the inside line. Yes, he will. He's making the dive into the Ascari chicane. Pushes Ace out wide, but Ace does not like that and fights back. And Ace and Toby spin. That Ace did not leave room, but I suppose Toby could have also left room. And that's another retirement out of Ascari. That's the 5th, 6th, every retirement has happened at Ascari, I think. With that being the same wall Foivu hit when he crashed out. Josh is slow now, falling out of DRS range of Rev. So Charlie will be looking to catch up to the back of him now, to grab as many points as he can from this race. Jake goes and picks up another 3-second time penalty, so that would bring him on to 40 seconds of penalties. Okay. A Storm now 4 seconds back, but Igor making a move. No, he didn't, he spun. But he is still quite close to Flaming, so we can stick on board with it, as it is the closest on track at the moment. And I have for some reason, under my eye hurts, so I might miss a few things. Oh! I didn't look at the screen. I looked away from the screen then to sort my eye out. I don't have words. I didn't see it. I wish I saw it, but I didn't see it. Because we have Louis now coming up to see the wreckage of Igor, but that is it. We're on the final lap. I didn't realise this, so Charlie will probably be keeping P3 now unless Josh's slow has any warnings, which he doesn't. Rev has 2 warnings, so if he picks up a warning on this last lap, he will gain a 3-second time penalty, which will push him back to P3, as Charlie now within DRS range of Josh's slow, so down to Ascari will have the DRS. As we will watch this all the way to the end, but Flaming and coming down, now we'll watch this. This is more important. This could be the make or break of the championship here, so but Wyardi is going to be picking up points and starting on pole position for the next race. Yep, definitely. But all Charlie needs is a better run out of Ascari, but it doesn't look like he's got it. So he will be keeping P3 in this race, unless either of the two drivers eventually get penalties later on in the day, after stewarding decisions. As we have Rev coming around Parabolica now in the uni, nearly losing it. We're sweeping. Oh my god. Oh, I thought he didn't. I thought he died. Okay. Rev takes P1, Josh P2, Charlie P3, Storm in an impressive P4. Mab taking P5 when he crosses the line. I believe Daniel will take P3, P7, P6, Flaming P7, Wyardi P8, Louis P9, Lando P10, Josh P11, and Jake P12 on his debut. Now I'm going to quickly grab a drink because the next race will be even worse. Enjoy the podium. I am back now for the podium celebrations, but we will skip through that. Oh, my eye. So, here's your grid order. Yeah, so there you go. Josh starting in P9 from that race, picking up P2. That is pretty crazy. As we have a dry sprint race here. So it's 10 seconds now until the formation lap. And I still have a really bad pain under my eye. It's like the top of my cheekbone. I know no one cares, but it's like the top of my cheekbone. I'm just thinking of things to talk about. I'm talking about myself now. It's not going well. As here we go now on the formation lap. Yeah, so Wyardi taking it very slow through the formation lap. Charlie again needs to beat Wyardy this race to keep his championship lead. Oh my god, I'm sorry, this really hurts. I'm not going to even try. I shouldn't laugh, I really shouldn't laugh. It's really bad that I laugh at this stuff. I'm the worst for this, as commentators shouldn't laugh when people spin, but I do. The only one that does it. So, I believe as of the moment, it's a bit late to even try and talk about the standings now, isn't it? Going into Parabolica. Too late with that. But Charlie does increase his lead up to... I'm amazing. Wyardy, well done. Charlie increases his lead. I wrote this down in notes earlier. I felt like it would happen. 181 points, and Wyardy in the last race, finishing in 8th, will put himself up to 148 points. So I believe, unless he does well here, Charlie wins. Why is Wyardy just sat here? I believe restart must... Okay, we'll restart. We restart as usual. It was all going well. All going very well. Yeah, so it will be I believe a lobby start again. I will be muting a sec, so you can I'll just let you stare at a car. Um, you can look at the championship leader car. Please enjoy the viewing of the dams. That's all you're gonna see until I get an invite. We'll have an invite soon, trust me. And we're in. I hope we're in. There we go, we're in. Just look at all the drivers, or we'll look at the tracks. Or no, we'll not look at my assists, let's not do that. We should be going soon. It's a 25% feature race, just because that's the closest we're going to get to the sprint. Still waiting. I think, yeah, this is formation lap, yeah. Right then, formation map, here we go. Words. So we're going into Ascari now for the formation lap. Remember, in this race there shouldn't be a pit stop, but then there won't be because it's 8 laps. And what was I going to say? And only the top 8, it will classify the top 10 as points, but only the top 8 will actually get points. Right then, as we are lining up now on the grid, as Wyardi sets into his pole position, pole position place, as it is 5 red lights, but not 5. They're not revs. I can't word. There's no point in me trying anymore. As Rev has gone for some reason. And all the cars have gone. Rev will not count for this race. Wyardi keeping P1 as of the moment, but Flaming Fire taking P1 off him. I've lied to you. But that's Daniel literally all over the rear end of him, as Flaming Fire in technically P1 is up into the lead, as Wyardi has been left for dead as Charlie climbs up, trying to get to the back of him. I'm going to probably focus on him a lot this race now, because this can decide the championship. I think Ollie can do the maths for me. Ollie can do maths for me, it's fine, but... And since you're watching, Ollie, you can tell me quickly, so do your maths, hurry up, go away. As Rev 6-second lead, but that doesn't matter because he's not in the lead. Daniel all over the rear end of Flaming Fire, getting a much better run through Lesmo 2 now going down the straight. Daniel is nearly on the grass there, purely to his own positioning. Makes a move up the inside into the Ascari chicane and has taken the lead, or even getting to the exit, which is very good. But Charlie now all over the back of Flaming, not Charlie, Wyardi, all over the back of Flaming. Charlie sat there hoping Wyardi makes a mistake like he did on the formation lap of the broken race. Him and Flaming nearly came together then, that was quite close, but Charlie now is all over the back of Wyardi, side by side with Flaming Fire, as they go down into turn 1, as Charlie sits behind Wyardi here and lets those two fight. Again, hoping they make some form of mistake. As Toby retires in the pit wall. Okay. Here is again Charlie gaining on the Flaming, who has the bars of death. Thankfully not the Red Cross of Death, but there's a... No, there wasn't. Yes, there was. Closer battle on Josh on Mab all the way back in Lesmo 1. I say all the way, it's only like 2 seconds behind Charlie and YRD, but... Still all the way back, but remember, like I said, P8 rounds out the points in this race, no matter what it says in a few minutes when we look at the finishing screen. As Rev still leads by a considerable margin, considering he's AI. Oh, he's only 2 seconds. As YRD now has clean air to run all the way off into the distance. As Charlie and Flaming now side by side down to the Parabolica. And just looking for the switch back. Yes, he makes the switch back, and Flaming moves out of the way for him. Charlie now has P4 down into the turn 1. YRD is now a full second ahead of him. That small little fighting there just down the straight cost him a lot of time. Even though it's only a second, it's still critical down to the championship. We saw Flaming and Charlie come together last race, so but Flaming came off a lot worse. As Charlie has now lost 6 more tenths to YRD. This is really not helping his championship battle at all. A closer fight on track would be Josh on Mab, but that was close this point last lap, so there's probably nothing happening. But Foivu is pushing Jackson through that turn, which has lost him a lot of time, and losing him a position to Igor. And Storm. Storm forces him off the track there. Yep, Storm has forced Foivu off the track there. That was pretty dirty from him. You would expect much more from the Kimi Räikkönen of the league. Of the F2 league, I should say. As that's a retirement in Sector 2, but sadly it won't cause a safety car, as it's only an 8-lap race, and for some reason the game doesn't allow it. As Rev is falling down the order now, which puts YRD into P2, which puts Charlie now 1.5 seconds back from, you know what I'm talking about. But they should soon have DRS. They should have DRS this lap. I don't know why there wasn't any then. Why no one was using it. They should have it. Oh, there you go. There's Jackson making a move on Igor for P10, which is sadly no points. Lando still rounding off the points with his Carlin teammate not too far behind. YRD has left the session. This could be... He could fall down the order so badly now, as Charlie is up into P3. And he will have DRS from YRD down the next straight, which will promote Charlie up into P2. And get him closer, that ever so slightly bit closer to Daniel. As he now flies down the back straight. Only if ERS existed, he would have flown even much more down that back straight. If ERS existed in F2, I think these cars would just fly off the track. Flaming is technically now on par for his 3rd podium of the season. On par, on track. I mean on track, leave me alone. As we have Daniel now coming out of the final turn, but Lando and Mab looking very close together there, but Mab is also very close to Josh. So we'll see what happens here. As Lando is gaining on Mab, who has chosen to open his DRS pretty late there. As, yep, they start to pass Rev and YRD here through turn 1 and 2. But YRD is not back, I lied. That's just the high tech that looked like YRD for a second. Charlie, with 3 laps remaining, now needs to gain on Daniel a lot quicker than he is. And Flaming hopefully will sit back and watch, as he knows that this is critical for the championship, and Stevie has been hit off the track. That was definitely hit off the track and was not a mistake of his own. Lando looking not very happy that his car's been stolen. That's currently Wyardi's AI rounding off the points. No, Rev's AI rounding off the points. As Daniel picks up a 2-second time penalty, which is critical now, as Charlie could win the race. As that's Rev, as Mab is close to the rear end of Lando now, but will not make a move in turn 1. As Charlie's gained, since Daniel picked up that penalty, Charlie has really gained on him by about a second. That's mad. Lando now is about to make a dive up the inside of Josh, is slow into the second chicane, and Lando now has lead over Josh into Lesmo 1. But that is Mab now going up the inside of Josh into Lesmo 1, and will have the lead into Mesmo 2. Flaming falling back now, he is being caught rapidly by Lando. As Igor now is making a pass around the outside into Ascari chicane, but he makes the move long before the chicane comes, and is securely around Stevie for chicane. As Charlie now 1.5 back from Daniel, but there is a closer fight on the track. Igor also catching, but something happened, and for some reason my brain just didn't register what happened at all. This is terrible for Wyardi. He's back. His AI, sorry, should I say. Charlie now 1.7 on Daniel. He's just keeping within that range. He knows he doesn't need to push too hard, as Daniel does have that penalty. But let's check a minute if Charlie has any warnings, which he does. And yep, and Daniel already has another warning, so 2 more warnings and he can get 4 seconds of time penalty. As Lando gaining on Flaming Fire now, using that DRS advantage down to Ascari, but he's not going to pass. He's going to wait for main straight, as Mab picks up a 2-second time penalty. Anything else to watch? Yes, Igor, no. Might as well watch Lando down the main straight. Already all the way up the back of Flaming. For some reason choosing to go around the outside. No, because the inside's covered. Yep, shush my brain. And now Flaming just sits in the slipstream and lets that go. So Lando could be on for a podium position here. The first time this car would have seen the podium. First time this Carlin specifically. The other Carlin saw the podium multiple times. Wonder why. Sorry, I always do that. And I can't help it. As Charlie nearly within DRS of Daniel, but he won't have it down here. And this is the final lap. So Daniel must just be laying off a bit now, because he knows he's lost the position either way. And he knows he won't go back any further, because Lando is 6 seconds back from Charlie, which is quite a big gap. But Flaming is using his DRS now, doing exactly what Lando did to him, but Flaming will try and make the move, because this is the final lap. But he's not going to be able to make the move, as Lando covers the inside line. as Daniel comes across the line, P2, Charlie P1. That won't retire him, will it? Will it? No, it shouldn't, should it? No, it won't. Lando P3 picking up a podium. Congratulations to Lando here. First podium of the season. Daniel's second podium of the season. Yep. And that's your top 8 point finishing. Come and move it all in a sec. Here's your podium, top 3. Charlie taking the win, which I believe might mean he might chip. Ollie can confirm that to me later. Let you know next week. Final race at Brazil. Right then, that will be all from today. Tomorrow we'll have the F1 race around France. So until then,